In this video, we're going to talk about the volume of cylinders. So if we take a look, this is what a cylinder looks like, this right here. And much like yesterday, when you watched your video on finding the volume of prisms, what we essentially did was we found the volume, or excuse me, the area of the base, and then we multiplied by how many layers or how tall the object is. In this case, since volume is big BH, the volume of the base is a circle. And to find the area of a circle, you might remember, is pi r squared. So you're first going to find the area of the bottom, or the base, and then you're going to multiply it by how tall it is. So the formula that we are going to be using today, and on all of these problems, will be pi r squared h. Let's take a look at our first example. Find the volume of a cylinder. Use the pi button on your calculator and round to the nearest tens place. For those of you who are using a calculator on your cell phone, typically with cell phone calculators or any calculators on an app, if you turn your tablet or your phone sideways, you get more options and you'll be able to see the pi button there. For me, what I'm going to have to use is I'm going to have to use my graphing calculator here, which I do have one. So I'll have to pull that up. There we go. Now I have both of them side by side. So I'm going to use ESA for all of these questions. So volume is equal to pi r squared h. Volume is equal to pi times my radius. Well, radius goes halfway across a circle. So this would be a radius. And if you remember, if it goes all the way across, that's a diameter. You'll have to forgive my handwriting on this. I'm not very good at writing on these. Okay, so if we take a look at this question right here, our radius is 5. So that's going to be 5 squared times the height, which is 8.3. So I'm going to take my calculator and I'm going to come over here. And for me, I think I'm going to go scratch pad. And it's going to be quite small. So pi times 5 squared, and you might want to type it in as 5 times 5, that's completely up to you, times 8.3. And I'm getting 651.88. Now my calculator is actually already rounding it. So 651.88. Now this is asking us to round to the nearest tens place. Quick lesson on rounding. Tens place, you look at the digit right after it. If it's 5 or more, raise the score. If it's 4 or less, let it rest. So this is bigger than 5, so I'm going to round that 8 up to a 9. So 651.9, now these would be cubic centimeters. And there's our first answer. Let's try another one. Find the volume of a cylinder with a diameter of 12 and a height of 18. So diameter of 12 and a height of 18. So maybe I'll draw this here. You don't have to, but I'm going to. So the diameter going all the way across is 12, and the height is 18. Write your answer in terms of pi. What that means, and this is going to be really important, when you write your answer in terms of pi, that means you don't actually hit the pi button on your calculator. You actually leave the pi symbol in your answer. It's considered exact since you will not have to round. So let's try it. I actually think these are a lot easier. So our volume is equal to pi times your radius. Now if the diameter is 12, then your radius goes halfway across, which is 6. So this is going to be 6 squared times 18. So now with my calculator, I'm going to ignore the pi for the moment, and I'm going to go 6 squared times 18. And I believe that's 648. So I'm going to write 648 pi. Now this would be inches cubed. And that's what I do. I just leave the pi symbol on there. If I wanted a rounded answer, I would take 648 and multiply it by pi on my calculator. Shall we look at another one? I think we should. Oh, now this one's interesting. Here we have a cylinder that has a diameter of 10. Okay, there we go. Diameter of 10, meaning it goes all the way across, and a height of 15. But it's been sliced in half. Calculate the volume, and this time it says round your answer to the nearest tenths place. Okay, we can do this. So volume is equal to pi r squared h. The problem is I don't want all of it, I want half of it. So I could do one or two things. I could do this, cut it in half, or you can put a half in the front and say pi r squared h. And if you don't like a half, you could use 0.5 when you're typing it in the calculator. Remember, 1/2 is the same thing as 0.5. Okay? So you could do a variety of things here. I'm going to use the half symbol, I think. So I'm going to do 1/2 times pi times my radius. Okay. If the diameter goes all the way across, then radius goes halfway. Halfway across from 10 would be 5. So this is going to be 5 squared times the height, which is 15. So now I'm just going to punch this in my calculator, and I am rounding, so notice I'm not using an equal sign here. So now I have to go over to my calculator here, and I sure wish I had my glasses on, but I don't. So I'm going to do 0.5 times pi times 5 squared times 15. Uh-oh. Okay, looks like 589.049. So 589.049, it looks like. Okay, so I'm rounding to the nearest tenths place, so I'm going to look at the digit right after. If it's 5 or more, raise the score. 4 or less, let it rest. So this is going to be 589.0 meters cubed. Okay, let's try another one. Now we're going to do a composite shape. So in this one, and we are going to round to nearest tenths place. So in this one, we have a cube-shaped bead that I use to make jewelry. The bead actually has a hole in the middle. You can see that right here. There's a hole in the middle that goes all the way through. So I want to find the volume of the bead. So when I'm finding the volume of the bead, what I'm probably going to do is do the volume, which is equal to the volume of the cube, minus the volume of the, say, cylinder. So I'm just going to use those little symbols there, just to remind me. All right. To find the volume of the cube, and it does say that it is a cube, so you know that the length, the width, and the height are all the same. We have two formulas. We could do length times width times height, or if you want, side to the third power. You could use that. Take away the cylinder in the middle. Well, cylinder is pi r squared h. So the cube, take away the cylinder. So volume is equal to 12 times 12 times 12. Take away the cylinder. So the cylinder is pi times your radius. Now, if the diameter is 2, then your radius is 1, because radius goes halfway across, times the height. If we look at the cylinder, how tall is the cylinder? Well, it's the same height as the bead, so it's 12. Now, if you're real savvy with your calculator, you can put the whole thing all in at once. If you're not that savvy with your calculator, then you're going to punch in 12 times 12 times 12, or 12 to the third power. And it looks like 1728 minus 12 times 1 times pi. So let's see, pi times 1 times 12. Okay, and that looks like 37.6991. So I'm going to now subtract that. So 1728. Now I'm going to use this little function that a lot of calculators have, which is to use the answer from the previous line. So control answer. Whoops. And I got 1690.3. millimeters cubed. Okay, we've got one more to try. One last one. So now we have a toy chest. We're going to find the exact volume. Exact, meaning leave your answer in terms of pi. Love it. That makes it easier. I don't have to hit the pi button on my calculator. So volume, and this one is going to be the volume of basically the prism on the bottom, plus, we're not subtracting, we're adding these two because we've got the whole box plus half a cylinder, plus half the volume of a cylinder. So to find the volume of the prism, that's going to be length times width times height, plus 1/2 of a cylinder, which is pi r squared h. So the cylinder, or the cube on the bottom, is going to be 30 times 25 times 50 plus 1/2 times pi. Uh-oh. My marker's going rogue here. Hold on. There we go. Times radius. Radius. Well, if this whole distance is 12, that means your diameter, or excuse me, if this whole distance is 25, that means your diameter is 25, and your radius would be half of that. So half of 25. So that's 25 divided by 2. 2 goes in there once. 2 goes in there twice. Whoops. And it's okay, so let me fix this here. So that goes in there one time. Bring down the 5. That goes in there twice. And that would be 4. Put your decimal, bring down your 0. That would be your 10, and it goes in there 5 times, so 12.5. So times 12.5 squared times the height. That would be this measurement right here. That's 50. Okay, so volume is equal to, let me come over here, and I'm going to type 30 times 25 times 50, 37500. So 35,500 plus 0.5 times, I'm going to not hit the pi button, 12.5, whoops, squared times 50 3906.25. So 3906.25 pi. And believe it or not, these are not considered like terms. You cannot add them together. The reason being is that one of them has a pi symbol on it and the other one does not. They're not like terms. You can't put them together. That would be, for example, saying like 3 plus 2x is equal to, well, you can't actually add those and say they're 5x. They're not like. So you can't put those together. And because of that, you cannot put these two together. All right, your homework tonight is to get back on my website where you found this video, and there are 8 questions. And as usual, what I want you to do is I want you to start with the odds and then go back and finish the evens. Now you have 40 minutes to work. That's up a little bit from the 30, so you should be able to get all 8 of them done, but I want you all to start with the odds and then go back and fill in from there. Good luck. Email me or message me in Microsoft Teams. If you need any help, I'd be very happy to video conference with you. Good luck.